My cousin told the family I faked my disability for sympathy. My mother believed him. She said, "You've always exaggerated." I sat in silence as they mocked me at dinner. 6 months later, I invited everyone to my graduation, from a medical program I completed while recovering. Before the ceremony, I played a video on the projector, security footage from the day I collapsed. As the ambulance lights flashed on screen, my cousin. I was 27 when everything changed. I had been working my butt off for 2 years in a nursing program at a college in Austin, Texas. I was halfway through my clinicals and already feeling the pressure. Late-night study sessions, long shifts at the hospital, hardly sleeping or eating, my body was at its limit, but I kept pushing. I wanted to be a nurse. That was the goal. That was everything to me. One morning, I was walking into the hospital for my rotation. I remember the sun was barely up. I stepped out of my car, took a few steps, and then the ground came up to meet me. I don't even remember falling. Just this weird, heavy feeling in my chest, like I couldn't breathe, like my legs forgot how to work. Next thing I knew, I was in an ER bed with wires on my chest and a nurse telling me not to move too fast. They diagnosed me with a condition I had never heard of, dysautonomia. Basically, my nervous system wasn't doing its job. My heart would race when I stood up. I'd get dizzy just from walking down a hallway. My body was acting like I was running a marathon while I was sitting still. The doctors told me to rest. That I needed time. Maybe months. So I had to drop out of the program temporarily. That was hard enough. But I didn't expect what came next. I moved back in with my mom in Cedar Park because I couldn't take care of myself on bad days. It was humiliating. She helped at first. Got my meds. Drove me to follow-up appointments. But after a while, I could feel her getting frustrated. I couldn't do dishes. I couldn't keep my balance in the shower. Some days I couldn't even lift my head without feeling sick. Then Derek showed up. Derek is my cousin. We grew up around each other, but we were never close. He was always the golden boy, high school quarterback, now a sales rep who made too much money for doing too little. He liked to talk loud, brag about his job, and roll his eyes at anything that didn't fit into his neat little world. He visited once while I was lying on the couch with a blanket and a heating pad. He stayed for maybe 20 minutes, made a few dumb jokes, then left. After that, I started hearing things. My uncle called my mom a few weeks later and asked how I was doing. I was in the next room and heard her say, "She's still like this." I don't know. She says she's dizzy. Says her heart is racing. She's always been sensitive. Maybe it's just stress. I froze. Then, at a family barbecue a week later, I overheard Derek telling my aunt, "She's fine." I saw her. She looked healthy to me. She's just overwhelmed. Probably couldn't cut it in school. He laughed when he said it. My aunt didn't even push back. She just nodded. That would have been bad enough. But what crushed me was what happened during dinner one night. We had a little family dinner at my mom's house. Just 6 of us, me, Mom, Derek, his wife, my aunt and uncle. I sat at the end of the table because I had trouble sitting upright for too long. I barely said anything all night. Derek told a story about some guy at work faking a back injury to get disability. Everyone laughed. Then he looked at me and smirked. You know, some people just love the attention. My mom didn't say a word. His wife chimed in, "I mean, if you can still post Instagram stories, you can't be that sick." Then Mom said it. She's always been kind of overdramatic. Even when she was a kid, she made a big deal about everything. I sat there like I didn't exist. They were talking about me. Right in front of me. Laughing. I got up and left the table. Went into the bathroom and cried so hard I couldn't breathe. That was the night I decided to prove them all wrong. I didn't say anything to them after that. I stopped updating anyone about my health. I stopped explaining. I focused on getting better. I found a doctor in Round Rock who specialized in my condition. He gave me a rehab plan and said, "It's going to be hard, but you're young. If you're willing to work, we can get you functional again." So I worked. I started online classes to finish my program. I did physical therapy. On good days, I'd walk a block. Then two. Then around the park. I pushed my body until it screamed, and I kept going. There were nights I collapsed in the shower and cried into a towel. Days I missed meals because I couldn't stand long enough to cook. But I didn't stop. After 6 months, I was walking again. I could drive. I could stand in a line without fainting. And I finished my final class. Graduation was going to be in Houston. I planned it out. I wanted one moment, just one, where the truth would speak louder than anything they ever said about me. So I invited them all. Told them I had something special to show before the ceremony. They showed up dressed up, fake smiles on their faces like they had been supportive the whole time. My mom brought flowers. Derek shook my hand and said, "Proud of you, kid." I didn't respond. Then I brought everyone into the event room. I stood at the podium. I had the projector set up already. "I want to share something with you all," I said. "Something none of you ever saw." The lights dimmed. The screen flickered on. And there it was. Footage from the hospital security camera. Me walking across the parking lot. Then stumbling. Then collapsing so fast it looked like I had been shot. Nurses running. Someone calling for help. An ambulance arriving, lights flashing. My mom gasped. Derek went quiet. I turned around and faced them. "That was the day I collapsed," I said. "That was the start of everything. And while I was going through all that, some of you were laughing about how I was faking it." I looked straight at Derek. "You told people I was lazy. That I was pretending." His face was pale. Then I looked at my mom. "And you believed him?" She opened her mouth, then closed it again. She looked down. I finished the program. I graduated. And I did it without any of you. And then I walked out of the room. I didn't stay for their reactions. I didn't need to. I didn't go out to dinner with them after the graduation. I got in my car, drove to a motel, and shut off my phone. I needed time to think. I needed space. But they didn't give me that. The next morning, I had 15 missed calls, 10 from my mom, a few from my aunt, and 1 from Derek. I didn't answer any of them. Then the text started. "Mom, we need to talk. Please don't shut me out. Aunt, you really embarrassed us yesterday. That wasn't fair. Derek, you think you're the only one who's ever had a hard time? Grow up." That last one lit a fire in me. I wanted to scream. I wanted to call him and tell him exactly what he had put me through. But I didn't. I just blocked him. But I didn't block my mom. 2 days later, she showed up at my apartment unannounced. She had never even seen it before. I had moved into a small place back in Austin after graduation, something I paid for with the part-time admin job I picked up during recovery. She stood outside my door with a paper bag of groceries and a nervous smile. "I just want to talk," she said. I let her in. I shouldn't have. She walked around the apartment like she was inspecting it. "You've done well for yourself," she said. "I'm proud of you." I didn't respond. Then she said, "But did you have to humiliate us like that? In front of everyone?" That made me snap. "I didn't humiliate you," I said. "You did that to yourself." I showed the truth. "That's all I ever wanted you to see." She looked hurt. I didn't know how serious it was. I thought maybe you were just overwhelmed. "That's what Derek told you," I said. "And you believed him." "He made some good points." That hit harder than I expected. Even after everything, she was still defending him. "You picked his side," I said quietly. "You always do." "I just didn't want to think something was really wrong," she said. "If I admitted it, I'd have to admit I failed you. That I didn't see what was happening." I wanted to feel bad for her. But I couldn't. Maybe you should sit with that for a while, I said. Because I did. Every day for months. And not one of you ever apologized. She left in tears. 2 weeks later, I heard from Derek again. Through a lawyer. I got a letter claiming I had defamed him publicly and damaged his professional reputation. He was threatening to sue me for emotional distress and loss of income. Apparently, one of his clients had seen the video I posted of the projector footage and dropped a contract with his company. He was serious. And I was furious. He was the one who lied about me. He made jokes about my condition. He spread rumors that almost broke my relationship with my mother. And now he was acting like the victim? I hired a lawyer. That's when the real digging started. And what we found next gave me a whole new reason to keep fighting. My lawyer, her name was Carla, was tough. She didn't waste time. After hearing my side, she said, "This lawsuit is garbage. But let's dig into him anyway. You'd be surprised what guys like this hide behind their perfect smiles." A week later, she called me with a tone I hadn't heard before. She was excited. "We found something," she said. "You're going to want to see this." Derek had been running a side business. Technically, it was illegal. He was selling fake health supplements through a shell company registered under his fiancée's name. No FDA approval, no testing, just capsules filled with junk, sold to elderly clients for outrageous prices. Carla had found an old employee who'd left the operation after realizing what Derek was doing. "He's been using his sales job as a cover," she told me. "And if this gets out, he's done." I couldn't believe it. This was the same guy who mocked me for being sick. Who said I was faking it for attention. The same guy who got half the family to laugh at me while I was trying not to collapse at the dinner table. And he was scamming sick people for profit? I told Carla, "Let's use it." She nodded. "We will. But not yet. Let's wait until he pushes this lawsuit forward. Let him dig his own grave." In the meantime, I started getting anonymous messages on social media. Things like, "Watch yourself. You think you're a hero now? People talk. Be careful who you cross." I knew it was him. Or someone close to him. I didn't say anything. I just documented everything. Screenshots. Timestamps. Forwarded everything to Carla. The stress was getting to me, but I stayed focused. I had started a new job as a nurse tech at a rehabilitation clinic. It felt good to be useful again. Every patient I helped reminded me why I started this journey in the first place. One day, I got a call from my uncle, Derek's dad. He sounded nervous. I just wanted to say. I didn't know everything. About what he said. About what he did. "I'm sorry. I didn't say anything." Then he said, his fiancée left him last week. Said she found out about some stuff he was hiding. "You had something to do with that?" I didn't answer that either. Because it wasn't over yet. Derek had just made a mistake. A big one. He went on a podcast, some local bro show type thing, and told a story about a family member who faked an illness to get sympathy. He didn't use my name, but he said enough details that anyone who knew us would recognize it was about me. That podcast got picked up and posted on TikTok. And that's when everything started unraveling. The podcast clip went viral. Not huge like national viral, but big enough in Austin and the surrounding towns. A few 100,000 views. Enough for people to start talking. Comments lit up the post. "Wait, isn't he the guy being sued for scamming old people? He sounds like a total narcissist. I know who he's talking about. That girl's story is online. She didn't fake anything." Someone even dug up the video I posted from graduation and linked it in the comments. Everything connected. Derek had done this to himself. Within a week, his company suspended him. Then they fired him. Apparently, the podcast plus the supplement scam was too much. His name became toxic in their sales circles. And when Carla sent everything to the state attorney general's office, every witness, every testimonial, every ad he ran for those fake pills, they opened a fraud investigation. He tried to make a deal. Tried to say he didn't know the supplements were untested. But the receipts were all there. His emails. His texts. Even his voice on recordings convincing elderly folks to take control of their health with pills that were just ground up herbs and sugar. Meanwhile, his lawsuit against me? It crumbled. Carla submitted everything we had, the podcast clip, the harassment messages, the fraud documents. His attorney dropped him within days. And here's where it got real sweet. The family finally started talking. Not to support me, no, that would have required some backbone. They turned on him to save themselves. My aunt said, we didn't know he was doing all this. If we had known, we never would have defended him. My mom? She tried to spin it. I just wanted to believe the best in people. I thought maybe you were being sensitive. I didn't know he was lying. Too little, too late. Then, I got a message from Derek himself. It came through email since he was blocked on everything else. Subject, you win. The email was short. Just a few lines. You ruined my life. I hope you're happy. I lost everything because of you. Family, job, future. Congratulations. I didn't respond. I didn't have to. Because karma had already answered. The state charged him with multiple counts of consumer fraud. He took a plea deal, no jail, but tens of thousands in fines, a public apology, and a 5-year ban from working in any health or wellness business. He moved to Arizona after that. Last I heard, he was working some dead-end job, living in a rental with no friends, no fiancé, no connections. And my mom? She tried to rebuild things. I let her visit a few times. We talk now, but it's not the same. There's a distance she can't cross anymore. A trust that shattered and never came back. One time, she asked if I'd ever forgive her. I said, I'm not sure. But I'm not angry anymore. That's something. As for me, I'm doing fine. I work full-time at the rehab clinic now. I still have bad days with my condition, but I manage. I live alone, peacefully. Quietly. And every time I pass a mirror, I remind myself, they didn't believe me. They mocked me. They tried to bury me. But I rose anyway. And I buried them instead, with the truth.